explain. The lockdown, the announcement, the tapping. The woman nodded slowly, her lips pressed thin. Good, she said finally. Now follow us. We're evacuating the school, all students, everyone out. Relief surged and then twisted. As we filed out, a janitor in an orange jumpsuit stood in the hallway. His face was pale. He shook. The 3 rescuers passed him by. He didn't look like an officer, but he smiled. One of the female officers, the sharp-eyed one, paused by the man, sniffed the air like a bloodhound. She glanced at me, then back at the janitor. Her eyes flicked with recognition. Then she stepped back, turned, and nodded to her partner. The 2 officers pulled guns and pointed them squarely at him. Don't move, she said quietly. The janitor raised his hands, his smile widened as if proud. That's when I saw it. A sack slung over his shoulder. Heavy. Suspicious. My legs nearly gave way. Lily grabbed me. No, I thought. This doesn't make sense. Janitor? He's just a janitor. But the officers stayed focused. The janitor's eyes flicked up to me. And I saw recognition. A chilling calm. Then he laughed. Soft, quiet. Take me if you want, he whispered. But the others are already gone. And turned and started walking away. Handcuffs snapped. One of the officers gripped him roughly. He didn't resist. Just kept walking. But I couldn't shake the feeling. All along he had known. All along he had wanted to be caught, or maybe escape later. As they escorted him out, the sharp-eyed officer shot me a look. Her eyes held a question, which I couldn't answer. We followed them into the gym, lit by emergency floodlights. Students and teachers were huddled, coughing. Someone's backpack had punctured. A chemical odor still hung heavy. A hiss, then a cough behind us. I turned. Lily coughed urgently, hand over her mouth. It smells like chemicals. I swallowed hard. The gym stank. Sharp. Acrid. In that moment, as the fluorescent glare shook above our heads, I realized the danger wasn't just intruders. It was what the intruder had left behind. The officers lined us along the wall. A thin man in a suit, different from the rest, approached. He introduced himself as Detective Jenkins. He asked questions. Who saw what? Any idea who could do this? I opened my mouth, shook my head. I didn't have any clues beyond what Lily and I saw. A shadow, footsteps, a whisper. Then he asked about the janitor. Why would he come here? What was in that bag? No one knew. The janitor wouldn't answer. He only laughed again as they dragged him away. Backpacks down, Jenkins said. One officer stepped forward and pried a zipper from a teenager's bag. A thick cloth, drenched in something dark. The girl gasped. Her friend vomited. Mustard gas? Jenkins said coldly. Gas, poison. I felt bile rise. And then a new announcement over an old intercom. Not the same as before. Weak, static-ridden, but audible. Evacuate now. Leave by the gym exit. Hazardous contamination. Repeat, chemical threat. Danger is real. A groan rose from the crowd. Teachers tried to calm us. Someone yelled. Panic threatened to rise again. Detective Jenkins strode to a door marked Chem Lab. He hesitated, looked back at the crowd, and nodded. 2 officers followed him in. Lily grabbed my hand. Clara, my brother. She broke off, face pale. What about him? My voice shook. She swallowed. He works maintenance, janitorial. He called me last night, sounded off, angry about something in the lab. I didn't believe him. My blood chilled. If her brother was the janitor, and the janitor had that heavy sack, then this was all planned. Pre-planned. Lily's eyes filled with tears. I froze. I thought he was joking. I didn't believe. Detective Jenkins returned, grim. We found several glass vials. Labels worn off. Not yet identified. We need medical teams. Schools evacuated. All students, go home. Don't return until further notice. A teacher helped Lily stand. She looked at me, shaking. You okay? I nodded numbly, but inside I roiled with anger, fear, confusion. When I got home that night, I couldn't eat. My mom asked what was wrong. I held back tears. I texted my dad, because maybe he'd know what to do. But the message hung unsent. My phone still had no signal. I couldn't sleep. I heard every creak in the house as if an intruder lurked in the hallway. I thought of the janitor in handcuffs, still smiling. I thought of the vials. I thought of Lily's brother. I realized the danger wasn't over. The next morning, nothing in me wanted to go back to school. But curiosity gnawed at me. I needed answers. I woke early, got dressed, and slipped out before anyone noticed. I told myself I was retrieving my backpack from my locker. That was a lie. I just needed to see. The campus was deserted. No patrol cars yet, no police tape. Just an empty field bathed in gray dawn light. I approached the main entrance. Locked. A sign on the door, closed indefinitely. I wandered toward the chemistry lab building. The windows were boarded up. I pressed my ear to the wood. Nothing. A sudden noise startled me, a soft footstep behind. I spun. A figure stood a few feet away. Slim build, hair pulled back. My breath caught. It was one of the female officers from yesterday, the calculating eyes. She held up a badge. Officer Michaels, you shouldn't be here. Her voice was calm, but not kind. You too? I whispered, trembling. She sighed. Look, I don't blame you. I want answers too. But this place is under investigation. I swallowed. Is it safe? Are we going to know who tried this? She studied me. Maybe, but investigations take time. I can't promise anything. I nodded. She turned away but then paused. You really shouldn't be here. Go home. Something in her tone, a mixture of sorrow and regret, made me stop. I hesitated. She beckoned. Walk with me. We moved toward a side door, cracked slightly. She pressed her hand on it and peered in. I couldn't see much. Shadows, benches, broken glass. She had her flashlight out but didn't turn it on. Why are you doing this? I asked quietly. She closed the door behind us. Because I left my daughter here last year. She trusted them, and she died in negligence. They called it an accident. Her shoulders trembled. When I saw signs of contamination yesterday, unexplained chemicals, faint smells, I knew this was not random. Someone was using the lab after hours. Someone wanted to hide something. My throat tightened. But why target students? Her eyes met mine. To scare them. To force the school board to settle quietly. Expensive lawsuits. Hush money from parents. Some powerful people didn't want witnesses. A chill raced down my spine. That made sense. The heavy bag, the vials, the panic, all part of intimidation. But calling Lily's brother janitor, I trembled. If he was part of it, he's just a kid. He barely makes rent. Why incriminate him? She exhaled. Because he was convenient, insider access, but we still don't know if he executed it or if he was framed. Her words flickered with doubt. For the first time, I saw uncertainty, not resolve. She crouched, pulled out a small notebook. Investigators found these in the janitor's locker. She handed it to me. I flipped it open. Drawings, diagrams of the school, the lab, corridor layouts, ventilation shafts, notes, deterrent, but must not kill, only scare. Panic achieves result. My skin crawled. The drawings pointed to the gym vent above the east wall, exactly where the gas in the backpacks had spread. I looked up. That vent, that gym, people coughing, students panicking, spreading fear. I saw red. What does this mean? I whispered. Officer Michaels' voice cracked. He didn't intend to kill, at least not at first. But once it spiraled, things got out of control. Someone higher up, pulled the trigger. Literally. Her mouth tightened. She stuffed the notebook away. If you want to help, stay quiet. It's safer. I shook my head. Something inside me roared, no, I want to help. Back home, I texted Lily. Told her to come over. I needed to show her something. She came an hour later, pale and silent. Her eyes darted around the room. I placed the notebook on the coffee table. Read this. Her eyes skimmed pages, diagrams, ventilation shafts, exit routes. She swallowed hard. This is insane, she whispered. My brother, but so many others involved. I nodded. I talked to Officer Michaels. She thinks this was orchestrated to extort parents, to pressure the school board, to flush out troublesome families, bullying parents, families who would pay to make things go away. Lily's lip trembled. But my brother, he's innocent. He works maintenance, yes, but he wouldn't do this. He just hated how the lab smelled, how experiments kept happening late after we left. I held her hand. We won't let him take the fall. We made a plan. I would reach out to the science club group, the ones who stayed late every day. Maybe someone saw something. Lily would talk to her brother, the janitor, if they allow visitations. Maybe he'd talk under pressure. We'd gather evidence, photos, suspicious entries, lab chemicals list, teacher logs. It was risky, but I had to try. That evening, I sneaked back onto campus. The security was down. Only one guard patrolled the lot. The chemistry lab building loomed dark and silent. I pressed my ear to the door. No sound. I twisted the old maintenance key I'd borrowed from Lily's brother's coat. She said he wouldn't miss it for a night. The lock clicked. The door swung open just a crack. I slipped in. The corridor smelled sharp, antiseptic, and decay. I flicked my phone's flashlight on. The beam caught broken vials, scattered papers, and a trail of muddy footprints leading to the inner lab. Inside, long benches. Bunsen burners overturned, shelves ransacked. On the floor, shards of glass. I crouched, snapped photos. My heart pounded. Then a faint noise behind me. I spun. A figure stood in the doorway, hunched, tall, silhouette sharp. Back off. A man. I couldn't tell who. Face in shadow. I froze. Who are you? I stuttered. He didn't answer. Raised his hand. In the palm, a small vial, then flicked it. It shattered against the lab tile. The smell hit me instantly. Acrid, choking, worse than anything in the gym. I coughed, eyes watering. Dizziness clouded vision. My phone slipped from my fingers. A wet thud behind me. The man passed me, leaving me choking, gasping. I stumbled toward the door, but it slammed shut. The vial in my mouth burned, my lungs spasmed, my sight narrowed. Darkness swallowed me. When I woke, Minutes, hours later, I don't know. I was lying in a cold hallway, curled in a pool of my own sweat. My phone lay beside me, screen cracked. The lab door hung open. No footprints, no sign of the man. Only a note. Stop digging. I came home. Lily was waiting, pale eyes wide. Her brother's guilt hung over her like a cloud. I tried to tell her it wasn't over, but she shook her head. Clara, I can't. I'm scared. I nodded. Tears burned. I wanted to scream. I wanted to fight, but I was weak, poisoned. The next morning, official word. Chemical leak contained. Janitor charged. School closed indefinitely. Board to meet in a week. Parents angry. Police investigations ongoing. But no arrests beyond the janitor. No charges for teachers or administrators. No mention of any mastermind. My stomach twisted. Someone powerful was covering tracks. Weeks passed. I couldn't sleep. Flashbacks. Visions of that figure in the lab. The hiss of gas. The fear. Then Lily disappeared. No calls, no messages. Her social media vanished. Her house empty. Panic crushed me. I called every friend. No one had seen her. One night I got a message. No name, no number. Want to know where she is? Meet me. Midnight, the North Lot. My breath caught. I looked at my phone. My finger hovered over reply. I knew I should call police. I should. But fear had changed. Fear now had a shape, and I couldn't see all of it yet. My heart hammered. I typed yes. I drove, windows down, hands tight on the wheel, moon low and thin, parking lot empty, lantern light dim. I checked every rear view mirror twice. Then, a figure stepped from behind a rusting maintenance van. Tall, barely visible. Clara. Voice calm, familiar. My blood turned cold. Show me Lily, I said, voice steady, though inside everything shook. He stayed silent, just tilted his head. You shouldn't have dug this deep. I stared. The hood dropped back. The face, I knew. It was Ms. Harper, the school principal. My legs nearly gave out. You? I whispered. She stepped forward. Yes, me. My breath caught in my throat. You have no idea what I've lost, she said quietly. My husband. He worked at the lab before it was our school. When the chemical program shut down, he died. They called it an accident. But I knew it wasn't. She paused, face hard. I tried legally. Lawsuits, complaints. They buried him, covered it up. They rebuilt the school on that land. Used your frightened parents as leverage, as profit. A shiver ran down my spine. The janitor, the cleanup, the leaks, the threat. All part of her plan. To scare the parents, to get money, to punish the board. You investigating, you threatened to expose me, she continued. So I kidnapped Lily. I had to warn you. Stop or I'll bury her next. And I'll finish what I started with my husband. A crow called somewhere. The night air tasted like metal. I searched my mind for answers. None came. Then I heard a click. A gun. I flinched, but instead of fear, something strange, steel, cold focus. I raised my voice. You killed. You risked hundreds of lives. You don't get to win this. She smiled, low, cruel. A second shot. I staggered. Not from the bullet, but from surprise. Ms. Harper clutched her side, blood dark blooming on her blouse. She gasped. Silva, Officer Michaels, stepped from behind the van, gun still trained. It's over, Harper. The principal's eyes widened, rage, fear, realization. She twisted, pointed her gun at Lily, pressed to Lily's throat, blindfolded, hands tied, stumbling out from the shadows. Don't come any closer, she spat. I froze. Michaels lowered her weapon slowly. You promised. Ms. Harper narrowed her eyes, then sneered. Promises are for the weak. A scream. Lily. I lunged. My boots scraped gravel. I shoved Michaels aside. I sprinted. The shot cracked. The bullet missed Lily by inches. I threw myself over her, rolled. The principal fired again. The sound cracked through the quiet. Lights bloomed, red and blue. Police cars skidded into the lot. Engines roared. She froze, uncertainty flickering. Then sirens, loud, a net closing. She dropped the gun and sank. A week later, the board resigned. The lab was sealed. The janitor was released. Charges dropped. Lily's brother never touched the chemicals. He quit maintenance, moved away. School reopened after a month, cleaned, safe, but I never stepped inside again. I moved to another district, changed schools. Lily and I reconnected slowly, over coffee, over whispered laughs, over shared silence. She recovered. I recovered. But some nights I still wake imagining that tapping on a locked door. What I learned. Fear can be manufactured. From chemicals, from announcements, from whispered threats, but so can courage and truth. I don't know what I'll do next. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'll let the memory fade. Or maybe I'll keep watching. Because for as long as secrets exist, someone needs to shine a light.